Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of our podcast, A Slice of Science. I'm your host, Aadya.
And your co-host, Ange, and we're here today to bring you a slice of science every month, explaining things you've always thought to look into, but you never had the chance to.
Today, we get to look over why we stumble over our words.
Those times when we trip over the simplest sentences turns out to be a much more complicated process behind the scenes than just goofing up the words.
When we talk, it might just seem simple and straightforward to just think of a sentence and speak it out loud. But there is so much, a lot of things going on behind the scenes. For example, our brain has to juggle a lot of things like our facial expressions, our mouth muscles, our tongue muscles, our vocal cords, all in a few milliseconds. And even while it's doing that, we're also still formulating thought. And on top of all of that, which is a lot on its own, our brain is still subconsciously controlling our breathing, our heartbeat, our digestion, like all of our bodily functions on top of whatever it's doing right now.
Yeah, you could say the brain's being like a Sigma, but the thing, it kind of reminds me of like a security guard with like a bunch of, or like a hacker with like a bunch of monitors looking over a bunch of things and controlling it. That's kind of what the brain is doing. It's like looking over the animatronics, making sure they don't eat children. And like, sometimes the brain can also have mishaps. The children get eaten, right? So it's a really complicated process behind the scenes, but when you look at it from the outside, it doesn't seem too complicated. And so since all that's happening on the inside, our brain can kind of lag when it isn't getting like things it needs. If you're stressed or anxious, fatigued, you did not get enough sleep, it can cause your brain to lag a ton. And mixing up our words is the result of that. It's like when autocorrect fails. It's just auto, not correct.
Yeah, it's autocorrect without the correct. That's why having a healthy sleep schedule is incredibly important.
Get on the grind of sleeping.
This thing where you stumble over your words, it's totally normal. Every single person on this earth has probably experienced this. And it's really normal because our brains aren't perfect. We're human. We're not made to be perfect. So it happens sometimes. And there are a lot of things you can do to avoid it as much as you can, but it's not gonna completely go away. It just happens. We're human. And like a tip I have for you guys is that when you're talking, make sure to talk slow and articulate your words. When you talk fast, you might get a bit more mixed up, and what happens is your brain might mix up phrases and the wrong thing might come out of your mouth because you're thinking too far ahead and you're talking too fast. So just slow down. Take a few deep breaths in between your sentences, and then that will limit the amount of stumbles you have because you're going slow and you can understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And another, like, a little, like, silly, goofy, funny side to, like, stumbling over your words as a whole is spoonerisms,
Spoonerisms. Yes,
where
I love spoonerisms.
spoonerisms are so goofy. Basically, it's where, like, you're thinking about two phrases at the same time, kind of the same reasons why you stumble over your words, stress and anxiety, and you just completely goof up a sentence or, like, a phrase. For example, jelly bean is belly jean. That's kind of an example of a spoonerism,
Belly
and they can be
jean.
really funny, too. What's your favorite type of spoonerism? Because I know they can be
Oh,
pretty goofy and funny.
yeah, my favorite has to be like Bunny Bone going to Bunny Phone. I think
Yeah.
Bunny Phone just is adorable. I love bunnies.
That's so ruler. I think my favorite, it has to be the one where it's like lighting on fire or fighting a liar.
Oh yes, fighting a liar to lighting on
Yeah.
fire, or the other way around,
Yeah.
right?
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
It is a really comical side because sometimes you can make the most hilarious mistake.
Yeah.
I remember I was saying a speech and I messed up two words and I switched them, and it was actually kind of hilarious, but it was also really embarrassing.
What's the speech even about?
It was a speech on how technology is impacting the world right now.
Alright, so now that you know why you stumble over a sentence, next time you do, remember to be more forgiving to yourself, because there's a lot going behind the scenes, so it's no wonder there's going to be a mishap every once in a while.
So thank you everyone for listening, and this was your slice of science for this month. Make sure to join us on our next episode at the end of the next month.